It's a Wednesday here on the Commanders Report, which means yet another 7-round Commanders mock draft. We only have 2 more mock drafts from me before the big day there in Detroit. We have this week, and then we'll have my final mock draft next Wednesday right here on the Commanders Report. But this week, no trades. I'm going to be going straight chalk here for the Washington Commanders. Got some pretty interesting picks to share with you guys here in just a couple of seconds. But before we get into today's mock draft, tomorrow it is the Commanders Report live show. As you guys know, we go live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be doing a fan-led mock draft, all right? So today you're going to hear from me. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a fan-led mock draft. So if you want to participate in that, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Commanders Report live show. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button and join us tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, for that awesome Commanders Report live show that we got planned for you guys. So let's start now with Jayden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner out of LSU, who is probably going to be my pick at the number 2 spot for the rest of the way here. I do believe he is the right choice. I think that he brings the right balance of high-end upside with that electric ability to run the football, really good touch on his deep ball, but also he doesn't have some of the same accuracy concerns and low floor issues that you see with a guy like Drake Maye, who had significant accuracy issues this past year at North Carolina. Jayden has very clean throwing mechanics, really good pocket footwork, so there's less to work on, and he pairs that with high upside, so I think he's going to be the pick at number 2. Then we get into round 2 here for the Washington Commanders. I picked number 36, and I'm going to have them take Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle from the Arizona Wildcats, who I think can step in day one and be a starting left tackle in the National Football League. Now, it's definitely possible that Morgan gets taken at the end of round 1 or even before the Commanders in round 2, but if he falls here at number 36, he's had a top 30 visit with the Washington Commanders, and I do believe he will be the pick here at number 36 if he's available for the Washington Commanders. Now let me know down there in the comment section, which player do you hope falls to the Commanders at number 36? Are you hoping for Kool-Aid McKinstry? Are you hoping for Chop Robinson? Are you hoping for somebody else? Let me know who you want to fall to number 36 down there in the comment section. For today's pinned comment, YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then we get to number 40 here, just a couple picks later. I'm going to have them take Darius Robinson, defensive lineman out of Mizzou. Now, some people quibble about whether Robinson's going to be more of a 3-4 defensive end, which is more of like an interior off a defensive lineman, or a true edge rusher because he is so big for a defensive end, but I think he is a perfect fit for what Washington is looking for. He has a dominant push-pull move. Now, he's going to have to develop a little bit more in his game as a pass rusher because really that push-pull move is really all he has at his disposal, but he is, bar none, the best run-defending edge rusher in this year's draft class, and it's not close. This guy can anchor, and he's just not going to move whatsoever. Really good in terms of run diagnostics as well. So if you're looking for somebody that can play all 3 downs right away and has high-end upside, where if he can develop a couple of other pass rushing moves, can really develop into a number 1 guy, I think Darius Robinson is probably your guy. And if he's here at number 40, I think there's a decent chance he could be a Washington Commander. Now, coming up here, rounds 3 through 7 of this latest Commanders mock draft I'm sharing with you guys today. But before we get into rounds 3 through 7 of this mock, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Fanatics, where you can go chatsports.com/24DH to get the official Washington Commanders draft hat in your closet today. No matter who the Commanders end up taking in this year's NFL draft, they're going to be wearing this hat on draft day. So if you want to get a piece of Commanders history in your closet today, this is going to be a historic draft class, new front office, new head coach. You're going to be getting a new franchise quarterback, really starting a rebuild here. So it's going to be a historic year. Get a piece of Commanders history right now when you go to chatsports.com/24DH. I'm going to put the link to that in the comments and description of today's show. So you can click that link and let us know, or let them know, that we sent you. Then we get into round 3 here. I'm going to go tight end, Ja'Tavion Sanders out of Texas. Now, will Sanders fall this far? I don't know. He is the number 2 tight end on the draft board, in my opinion. Brock Bowers is probably going to be a top 20 pick, if not a top 10 pick. Now, Sanders is somebody that's not quite as dynamic as a guy like Brock Bowers, but he has super reliable hands. He is such a threat in the red zone. And I think if he has a year to learn from Zach Ertz, who's been one of the more reliable receiving tight ends and red zone weapons in the National Football League over the last 10, 15 years in the National Football League. I think that Sanders is going to be able to explode in the years to come and really be a safety blanket for Jayden Daniels as he heads down the early years of his NFL career. Then also in round 3, I'm going to go corner here with Kyrie Jackson, really long, physical, big corner out of Oregon. Now, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but his profile reminds me a lot of Richard Sherman. Now, Sherman had incredible instincts. He was incredible in press man coverage and press jam coverage. And Kyrie Jackson has the long arms you look for, the physicality you look for, and he's pretty darn good in man coverage. Now, he does have lapses in his coverage. He can be a little bit grabby. There's a reason why he's going to be here available in round 3, I think, for the Commanders to take, but I think he fits what the Washington Commanders want in a starting corner in this press man-heavy system that Joe Witt Jr., the new defensive coordinator, is going to want to run, along with, of course, head coach Dan Quinn. It's what they ran there in Dallas, and I think that's what they're going to be bringing here to Washington, so I think Jackson's a great fit. Then also in round 3, to finish out day 2 of the draft, the Commanders have the last pick there. And I'm going to have them take Virginia wide receiver, the tiny dynamo, my favorite value wide receiver in this entire class, Malik Washington out of Virginia. And listen, man, Washington's tiny, but he's built very well, and he's a really good run blocker from the slot. He was top 3 in college football last year in yards after the catch, so we know Cliff Kingsbury is going to want to do a lot of screens on early downs. Malik Washington will be that guy for him in this offense. Plus, he's a really crisp route runner. He's really good after the catch, has a full route tree at his disposal. I think this guy is a fantastic prospect, and if he's sitting there at the end of round 3, I think the Commanders need to pull the trigger. Now, before we get into the rest of this mock draft here, do me a favor real quick. If you haven't already, click that thumbs up icon. It really does help us out here at the Commanders Report, because when you click that thumbs up icon, it tells the YouTube algorithm that Commanders fans are enjoying this content, and they're going to push this out to other Commanders fans like yourselves. So we really do appreciate you. Make sure you click that subscribe or thumbs up icon if you haven't already. Then we get into round 5 here, and I really like Zach Zinter out of Michigan, man. He would have been a round 2 pick if he didn't suffer that terrible leg injury that he suffered at the end of the season this year with the Wolverines. I think it was in the Ohio State game. And, this guy just deserves a little bit better. Now, he reminds me a little bit of Andrew Voorhees out of USC last year. He tore his ACL at the Combine. He wasn't able to play the entire 2023 season, but the Baltimore Ravens picked him up on day 3, and now he's slated to be their starting center heading into the 2024 season. So you got Zach Zinter here. He's not going to be able to play for you in 24 most likely, but heading into 25 in the second year of this Dan Quinn era and of this rebuild, you have somebody that can be plug and play on the interior of the offensive line. So listen, this team's in the middle of a rebuild. I don't think the Commanders are expecting to win a championship next year or anything. So if you're trying to build the foundation for the future, I think Zach Zinter, a round 2 player in round 5 here, is a great value for a team that's rebuilding. Then also in round 5 here, pick number 152, I'm going to take one of my sleepers at wide receiver here, Jalen Coker out of Holy Cross. And, we get Malik Washington, who's kind of like the smaller, kind of dynamo gadget, also screen guy to play in the slot. And now you get Jalen Coker, who's 6'3", has got the wheels. He's got good agility as well. He's got the foundation. And he's kind of like a ball of clay ready to be molded into a really high-quality wide receiver in the National Football League. It might take him a year to really get to where you want him to be as a true X-receiver, but he's got the quicks, he's got the long speed, he's got the size, and he's got the route-running acumen. He was very impressive there at Holy Cross, and once he gets some NFL-level coaching, I think he's going to be seen as one of the kind of the steals in this year's NFL draft class. Then in round 7, I'll go tackle once again. We took Jordan Morgan to be the future left tackle. Now we get Garrett Greenfield to try to mold into our future right tackle. Greenfield is somebody that needs to bring a little bit more play strength into his game. He can get bull rushed a little bit too easily, especially when going up against like the D1 caliber guys that he faced off against in the Shrine Bowl this past year. But that's something that can be added. This guy's an athletic freak. He tested out of the gym at the Combine, and right now you can get him in round 7 according to Pro Football Focus. So this is somebody that can develop potentially as a starting right tackle option for you once Andrew Wiley eventually moves on, whether that be this season or next season. I think Garrett Greenfield is a good lottery ticket to kind of punch your ticket in here in round 7. I like this quite a bit. And then here's my mock draft haul in total here. Of course, 9 total picks across 7 rounds. Jayden Daniels, your QB. Jordan Morgan, your future left tackle. Darius Robinson, hopefully your future number 1 edge. Shatavian Sanders, really good tight end prospect out of Texas. Kyrie Jackson, hopefully can develop into a really good starting outside corner for you in this man-heavy defense. Malik Washington, a great screen, yard after the catch type, smaller wide receiver that I think is a great value. Zach Zinter as your future offensive guard at either on the right or left side, probably on the left side. Jalen Coker, somebody that's more of a developmental wide receiver that's got the size, quicks, and speed that you want in a potential starting wide receiver moving forward. And then Garrett Greenfield, somebody that can potentially be molded into a starting right tackle moving forward. I think this draft right here would set the foundation for a really successful rebuild here with Adam Peters and Dan Quinn as they enter this first year together, and I really do think that this would be something that works. So let me know down there in the comments section, A, B, C, D, or F. Grade this week's mock draft for me down there in the comments section, and of course, make sure you click that subscribe button right now and join us tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for our Commanders fan-led mock draft, which is going to be an absolute blast. So again, click that subscribe button. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m., and until then, hail to the Commanders.